Good afternoon and welcome back, ladies, gents, and flat-shaded, polygon-headed monstrosities with starry eyes. It's a bit of a weird one today. We're back to the Wikipedia podcast, my favourite number 13. But we're going to do a Starfield flavoured podcast because there's fairly little to talk about really else apart from that. But it's interesting. So, Starfield's been under a lot of pressure, a lot of criticisms come in. I have put the boot in a little bit. But you know what? I've spoken to so many people who have got so much out of this game. Not only that, I saw one or two little things that I didn't know were in there that what my experience of the game didn't include, which were cool. So I thought maybe it's time to revisit this game and have a look from a different point of view. Let's see if these people are I won't say anything rude, actually, it's a joke. Let's see if these people are right. Is this game as good as they say it is? And is it worth me revisiting? The intro scene's very Bethesda, isn't it? It reminds me of the cart in Skyrim. You're finally awake. And you know what? It's less similar to that. It's more similar to the cart ride in Half-Life. Those of you old and grizzly enough to remember that. It's like that. Without, if he was looking around, the guy who made this video that I stole, who I shall be linking to, if he looks around, it'd be more like that, where it's kind of pointless. It doesn't give you any detail about what you're doing. It has no relevant information in it. It's just look at the graphics kind of thing. Whereas the one in Half-Life set the story, it was like a narrative device. But I think that says, maybe that's the approach to take with Starfield. Don't go into Starfield thinking this is a narrative role-playing adventure. It's not. Even though I said before, it's not a proper sandbox, it's not a proper open world, treat it like it is. Okay, that's what I've been told. Even though it's not a conventional sandbox, it's not a conventional open world, and that's why people didn't take to it too well. It's too different, it's a square peg in a round hole. But no, the people who like this game swear blind. They'll die on this hill, go back to the game and look at it as if it is an open world adventure game, a role-playing adventure in an open world. So that's what I'm going to do when I rebuy the game in however many months it takes them to fix the bugs and add a few things and lower the price. I'm definitely going to rebuy it. I just think, okay, you can whinge about the AI assets in places. There are clearly human assets and then AI assets which are not as good. But it's another thing that I feel shouldn't be complained about too heavily, because the games it gets compared to, like No Man's Sky, I think No Man's Sky is great. I love No Man's Sky, but let's not beat around the bush. The graphics in No Man's Sky have improved a lot, but they're still fairly kind of bad. That's a big word, but sorry, I love you, No Man's Sky, but you are ugly in places. But the graphics are not good. Whereas, at least in Starfield, until you look at them in the eyes, they look pretty cool. The spacesuits are well designed. The guns, look, I'm a practical person, okay? I could tell you now, those guns wouldn't work. The mechanics of them are all wrong. But again, don't look at it like that. It's not a physics-based mechanical adventure. What do the guns look like? They look cool. Okay, cool. Shoot. Do they shoot well? Yes. Cool. Do they kill things? Yes. Well, then the gunplay's good, isn't it? Certainly no worse than Fallout 4, and I remember thinking that the combat was good in Fallout 4. Compared to Fallout 3, certainly it was a much improved experience shooting and killing things in that game. So as you can see here, the only thing that's really obviously a letdown is the melee. That weapon bash is near to useless. I never used it. And the melee weapons they're like skins. The only weapon you get for melee is a baton with a knife skin or an axe skin or some other kind of skin over the top of it. But it's like swing, swing, swing. That's all you do with it. But that's something they can fix with updates. I'm almost certain that if you get a DLC, it'll be like a melee on a single planet. Oh, that would be good, wouldn't it? Think about Star Trek. They've got the Klingons and they've got the I can't remember what it's called now. Those guys. They got that tiny moon blade thing. So there could be a DLC that had one planet and it was just like a Klingon alien race, and they use nothing but the Batleth. That's it. They use nothing but the Batleth. That'd be amazing. I'd love that. And think about it. It doesn't matter about the fast travel because you spend the entire game on that specific planet and it's just completely populated and detailed with a Batleth competition, and you've got to learn the skills of the Batleth. That'd be amazing. In fact, that'd be better than the game. So, my experience of it. So yeah, if they can do that, or anything like that, which they absolutely can do, then it will be worth going back to, wouldn't it? So yeah, let's look forward to that, hopefully. I mean, I should write these down and send these to Todd Howard, because if he's out of ideas, all he's got to do is ask us fans. And that's the thing about a Bethesda game. Like, I was playing Skyrim earlier. Skyrim is an inspirational game. I couldn't care less what anyone says about it and its flaws. They're probably right, but they're not right about this thing, about Skyrim being inspirational. It is. Like, you're just drifting about the scenery. The sky looks cool. When the sun goes down, it changes the lighting, and then the lions will come out and try and eat you, and, you know, when you use your flame magic, it lights things up around it. So it almost aids you in your thinking. It makes you imagine things, and it releases the brakes on your creativity. So in your mind, those neurons which generate the imagination, they're like lubricated now. They're going a bit quicker. Thoughts are coming out easier, you know? Inspiration. And that's the thing that people are telling me that's in Starfield that I have missed. Because the performance is so bad on my machine, I think. That's the other thing I've been told. I've got a pretty good PC, it must be said. It's 5 years old, but 5 years ago it was pretty much top of the range, apart from the graphics card. And the graphics card's good. It's equal to a 1080, right? Or a 2060, a really crap 2060. So it should be running this game well. But I mean, the graphics this guy here is getting, it looked nothing like this when I played it. I mean, he's getting performance issues. You can see frame hitches and stuff. And generally, it's good. I mean, I would have been more than happy to play at this resolution frame rate. That would have been grand. But the simple fact is, for me, I was literally down below 1080 and upscaling it to 1080. So it just looked dreadful. And the performance wasn't even good for all that. So I was just like, right, I'm going to kill this, go back into Skyrim at absolutely full detail, 1080p, and it was fine. So yeah, that's another thing. It's an inspirational game, but you can't get that inspiration if it's too stressful to play the game, if you're just clogged down with menus and loading screens and then frame hitches or glitches and stuff. You know, I was just getting seriously frustrated and lost to, you know, near to rage quitting. I really was. So if they can sort those performance issues out, or alternatively, if I do what Todd says and just throw my PC away and buy a new one, and the game improves, then I suppose I would be willing to give it a re-review. I mean, I said originally 6 out of 10 felt generous, but I mean, it was based on my experience. If other people are having a better experience, then I could invariably have a good experience in future with this game. Thing is, I wouldn't be willing to go back to the game if I thought, or if I was sure there was nothing in there to go back to. But I mean, even without bug fixes and updates and DLCs, I've actually seen evidence of experiences which, had I come across those in a non-stressful gameplay session, I would have come away with a completely different view of this game. One such thing was, there's a ship, I think it's called the Linitz or something like that, and it's got this Jewish colonist on there, and he's like the last Jewish guy in the whole universe. And the mission is you can either save him by paying for a warp drive so you can escape, or you can just blow the ship up, and therefore kill the last Jew in the universe. So, obviously it was unintentional. That's what happens when you have quests kind of half designed by people, then given to other people who change them, and then have elements added by an AI, and then smartened up by a completely different person later. I could tell from the design of that mission, now that I've looked at it, it was originally something else, and then they were like, oh, let's add some ethnicity in there, and then someone was like, oh, let's make it Jewish, so they changed the guy to be a Jewish guy. But it would have been no different had he been a Red Indian, or English, or American, or anything, with an ethnic and a religion link. But I just thought that's the kind of unintentional genius that you get with a Bethesda game. It's exactly the kind of thing that people look for. So like I say, if I'd have seen that, even just that one thing during my gameplay session, it would have been a 7 out of 10, and all of a sudden we're looking at a different game, because 6 out of 10 is like slightly above average with too many flaws to be a good game. 7 out of 10 is like they didn't have time to make it an 8 out of 10. Or, the bug fixes will make it an 8. 8, 9 and 10 is good. You can't say an 8 out of 10 game is bad. It's not. So yeah, it's definitely worth going back to for the Starfield gameplay. And other things like that. I mean, there's 1,000 planets, so there's probably there's going to be at least 1 or 2 other things like that if you'd have come across in your gameplay session, or if I'd have come across, we would have been saying, oh, that's cool, it's worth giving the game a longer bit, more patience to find things like that moment. It goes without saying as well, since it was unintentional, I don't think Todd Howard or Starfield are anti-Semitic or racist or anything like that. No, and being Christian and Jew, I can say, I thought that was actually kind of funny how that slipped through the quality, the quality testing for the game. They would have taken that out had they spotted that, guaranteed. It's not worth the risk for the amount of money they put into the game, and it's a Microsoft game. Absolutely no way that would have slipped by if Microsoft were quality testing it. So they must have left that down to Bethesda, who didn't do it. But I mean, I'm glad they didn't, because, like I say, unintentional genius. Had I seen that, I would have been sold on it, because it's such a random, pointed, edgy, but still cool moment. If you come across that in a random gameplay session, all the better. That's exactly what you want in a game, and it is role-playing, and then it is a sandbox experience. The more I think about it as well, they just need to release the brakes on the killing of characters. Make everyone non-essential. Let me kill everyone. If the whole point in the game at completion is to jump through a portal which puts you straight back into another similar universe and you just start the game again, then it doesn't matter who I kill anyway, does it? Because they're going to be alive again when I go through the portal. So just do what Morrowind did. If you bugger it up so badly that you physically are unable to complete the game pass, then just have a message sent to you, or a message pop up on screen saying, well, you've doomed the whole universe now, well done, but I hope you enjoy your dead universe, and then just let them carry on and reload a previous save. Everyone save scums anyway. So yeah, and then if you do that, suddenly all these different characters like Sam and the things he says are more relevant, because they actually have some kind of lasting effect. So if I'm going to go through a portal and leave this universe and appear in another very, very similar universe, which has got all the same characters in it, it doesn't matter. But if they matter, when you get to the portal, you won't want to leave it. That's the whole point. I feel like that portal mechanic, the more I think about it, it's potentially fucking really good. Really good. It could actually change the whole thing into an amazing narrative. But the way they're doing it at the moment is kneecapping it. It just means, well, it doesn't matter what you do. Kill whoever you want, doesn't really matter. But you can't. So it reminds players that they don't have agency. Whereas if you make all these characters, human, so you can just shot them in the head and they die, then when you get to that portal, you'll be thinking, I really shouldn't have killed so-and-so. Perhaps if I go through the portal, I'll find a way next time to not have to kill them. And then it's worth doing the New Game Plus, because you've actually got, you created in your head a goal. You've got a conceptual goal that you thought of, the game didn't give you. You were playing the game at that point as a sandbox, as an open world, and that's kind of how I intended it to be. How I was led through Todd's marketing to believe that it was going to be. So that's what it should be, and I think with a little bit of work it could be that still. So yeah, let's talk about the bugs and the performance issues and things that they could possibly fix. Yeah, I think it's clear they Bugsy Malone this one, didn't they? It's a typical Bethesda move to bugger up a game right on release. It's not like they are the only culprits. The whole bloody industry loves doing that, so can't really crucify them too hard for that, more than we already have. But it remains to be seen, can they actually solve the problems and the issues with this game through bug fixes? Even with mods, if they bring out a really good creation kit and all the modders get straight to work to fix this game, and Bethesda do, is that going to be enough? Is that going to be enough to actually make this game into the game that it got sold as? Or a game that's as good as that game? I think that's the thing we all forget. It doesn't need to be exactly like we said. We're not developers, we're just throwing ideas at the wall and hoping they stick. But if they give us something which is that good or better, then suddenly the criticism will disappear, and this will be a classic title that will be remembered for years to come. Certainly will on consoles anyway. As far as I'm concerned, the only people that complain about this game are PC players. Everyone who's got this on console, especially if they didn't pay for it, if they got it on Game Pass, they're generally happy to play a lot of this game. And yeah, so much for the PC Master Race. We got all the bugs. Literally, we got the worst version of this game. It's a scandal. We should have got the best version. We've got the most expensive computers, guys. It's our kids playing the consoles that has got the console version, which is better than our version. Come on, Bethesda, sort it out. At least give us the proper creation kit so that we can fix it if you're not going to do it. But realistically, if you did put the effort in, Bethesda, and fix this game, modders would be able to put their work into new things to make it even better, so the net result would be your game is better. And I really hope they see that, and that's what they do. In conclusion, there is a lot of potential in this game untapped. Okay, there is flaws there. There's things definitely that are fair to complain about. But I mean, let's not cut off our nose to spite our face about this game. There's enough here to work with. If modders are looking at this game thinking, you know, rolling up their sleeves and saying, well, I can fix this on my own. If they're thinking like that, then Bethesda, their internal development team, they must be looking at this thinking, right, let's go back in and make this thing perfect. And that means it's the perfect time for me to say my goodbyes and say I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit me up in the comments if you thought it was shit. Have a good night, stay out of trouble, and I shall see you next time. Bye then. Bye bye bye. Bye.